Hey Gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk. I'm Corey, and this is a Texas-sized Lexus. This is the 2024 Toyota Grand Highlander-based Lexus TX 350 Premium front-wheel drive. Yes, this is a rebadged Toyota Grand Highlander, which means it has got Texas-sized space on the inside without being overly monstrous like the LX that we tested not too long ago here on the channel on the outside. In this video, I'm going to give you a quick tour of the inside, the outside, take you on a quick drive, and tell you if I'd really buy this. Stay tuned. With this vehicle, Lexus does have a proper three-row, full adult friendly vehicle like they haven't had before. I mentioned the LX earlier, the third row, and that one was a joke. The brand new GX, which we haven't truly gotten to experience yet, does offer a third row, but it's mighty tight back in the back. If you want a three-row Lexus product, this is the one to get if you plan on using that third row of seats for anybody, adults or children alike, and we'll get into that momentarily in a segment that is absolutely exploding with popularity. Rivals to this vehicle are not limited to, but include Acura MDX, Mazda CX-90, Infiniti QX60, Buick Enclave, and the list goes on and on. Jeep Grand Cherokee L. You get the point. Customers are definitely in the market and are hungry for three-row SUVs that are fuel efficient, and this vehicle definitely fits the bill. There's a slight problem to me because this is really, as I alluded to earlier, a Grand Highlander with a coat of Lexus paint on it. This is the least Lexus vehicle we have tested on the channel. This really does feel like barely more than a Toyota, which has me thinking, I'm just going to prelude my final thoughts right here, has me thinking I might be shopping the Toyota dealership instead of heading 2 hours west of us and shopping at my closest Lexus dealer. Yeah, there's a lot with this one that just kind of has me scratching my head, but as per usual, I will go ahead and pop the hood here and tell you what is underneath the hood of our 350 model. So you can get this in 350 and 500 variants, which offer a couple different powertrains. There is a plug-in hybrid on the way as well, but what we get here is the Toyota Grand Highlander, see, the 2.4 liter four-cylinder from said Grand Highlander, here making 275 horsepower, 317 pound-feet of torque, mated to an 8-speed direct automatic transmission, and powering exclusively the front wheels. This is not the hybrid version. This is not that Hybrid Max version. You have to get the 500 Plus F Sport for that. But this is equivalent to the last, or the first Grand Highlander we drove. The last one was the hybrid version. But yes, 2.4 liter four-cylinder under the hood of this one. It's good, not great. We'll talk more about that as we get behind the wheel and start driving. I do like how we have gas struts propping this one up. And as we close the hood, let's talk about the styling of this thing. I don't particularly love it. There have been some Lexus products in our driveway that I've actually drooled over every time I've seen that. This one, just, I don't know, something about it doesn't quite look like it was finished. I know Lexus is slowly trying to phase out their spindle grille that has been bold and in your face. And we even saw a toned down version of it in the last RX we drove. But here, I don't know, it doesn't look finished since we have all this mica red paint filling the front panels of this one. It doesn't really feel like this one has a grille, and it just looks like it's missing something. Speaking of this red mica paint, I've been on the build and price. I will go ahead and tell you this is a pre-production model. I cannot find the option or trim or anything that will land you this red mica paint. So if you really like it, sorry, tough luck. I do believe that is a pre-production oddity of the group, but let me know down in the comments what you think of the new Lexus styling with a very toned down spindle grille here. We do still get the Lexus trademark checkmark grille or running lights, turn signals on this flanking the grille, LED headlights, LED fog lights, LED all the things up front here. I don't know, it just, ugh. This is not my favorite front end on a Lexus product. Let me know in the comments what you think. Moving around to the side, this is where you really see the Grand Highlander influence. And the fact that, like I said earlier, it really feels just like a little bit of a Lexus coat of paint on a Toyota product. This definitely and unfortunately feels like badge engineering at its worst. It doesn't feel special. It doesn't feel different enough from the Toyota version. And I don't know, I wanted more from this vehicle. And I know Lexus is going to sell a lot of these because there's a lot of demand for the big three-row vehicles. But I don't know, there's more to say. Coming down to wheels and tires, we get these nice multi-spoke star pattern 20-inch wheels. They're black finished, machine faced alloy wheels wrapped in these 255/55 R20 Goodyear Assurance rubber. Does a good job. I have driven in some terrible weather coming back from the Dallas area, and can say that these hold up very well in wet, rainy weather, even on the highways. Even though this one is only front wheel drive, I felt very calm and assured, see, Goodyear Assurance, that I was going to get where I wanted to go in this thing. Coming around to the full profile of this thing, yes, it is big, it is boxy, it is squarish, and that is one of the reasons why this has a very comfortable for adults third row. But when it comes to the side, there really isn't a lot to talk about as far as styling here. I do like that it isn't overstyled like Toyota products have been doing in the past. It feels like sometimes they're like, just put a line here. I'm looking at you, Toyota Supra, too much, you did too much. But here, like I said, there's just nothing too special about this one, to the fact that my 5.5-year-old son was calling this a minivan until I finally corrected him. So there's that. Coming back here to the back, one big point of differentiation between this and the Grand Highlander is the floating roof design made possible by this big black panel that unfortunately is plastic, and you can see already showing scratches, very fingerprint heavy, although I guess black paint would be as well. But being that it's plastic, not paint, I'm wondering how much you can really buff it out, because like I said, got a scratch right there, and this one doesn't really have that many miles on it. So something to note there. We do get a nice roof-mounted spoiler on this one as we come around to the rear of the vehicle. And as we get to the back, you see the new trademark rear end design of Lexus. You get that running light that goes across the back, all LED lights back here, by the way, LED turn signals, brake lights, running lights, and the like, and that Lexus spelled out on the back as opposed to the L brand logo circled here in the middle. Again, very boxy, very much a trademark of the new Grand Highlander. There's really only so much you can do when you're just swapping out body panels. This being the 350, we get this TX 350 down here. Yes, not Texas, not Lexus Texas. I did find out the hard way from maybe tagging or hashtagging that in a post earlier this week that, well, there are perhaps other connotations or connections to Lexus Texas on the internet, and I don't recommend Google searching that. This is a power-operated hatch that opens up very nicely. If your hands are full, all you have to do to open it is give a quick kick directly under the license plate back here, and the back of the vehicle will open. You can get in here and do whatever you had to do, and then you can give it a kick and close it back. Back here, we get a fair amount of cargo space. You can see there is my backpack for a little bit of size comparison on this one, but I can say you get 20.2 cubic feet of space behind the rear seats. Fold the power folding 50/50 split bench two-person third row down and you get 57.4 cubic feet. Fold the second row seats down and you can get 97 cubic feet in total. I will also call out, we do have top tethers on the backs of the third row seat, so that is a nice touch. And when you fold the seats down, these headrests do flop and fold out of the way. I'll go ahead and show you here. Two power buttons right here. We'll just hold them until they give you a double beep, and they will power fold down and give you a nice enormous amount of space back here behind the second row captain's chairs, as ours is equipped. Tons of space here in this TX. And then we can move my backpack out of the way, and we can show you right here. Not a lot of underfloor storage back here behind or under the third row of seats. We do get this nice little hook to store this up and out of the way, because that is where your jack is for fixing flat. That's where your retractable cargo shade is for back here in the back. And you can see it does connect right up there and cover this entire rear section back here. So if you really need it. And then all this does come out. It's a little bit of a process. I've done it with the Grand Highlander. The spare tire is actually underneath here. So you can see we do have a compact spare tire, but it is underneath all this plastic. So you're not going to be getting a bunch of road grime and dirt and dust on it. But you will need to take out all your luggage if you have luggage back here in the back on this third panel. I'm going to go ahead and put these seats up here because we will be climbing back in those third row seats here very soon. And I do want to call out, Lexus puts their open and close buttons up here on the hatch. Coming around to me, I am 5'10". You can see just how much room I've got here underneath the hatch. And I will say in our 1963 two single door garage openings, I've been very worried that this perhaps opens a little bit too wide, but it is a programmable hatch, so I like that as well. Just give it a press there, and it slowly, nicely comes to a close. Before we get in this one, I did want to show you the key. Typical Lexus key. It is a proximity key, but you've got everything on it you would need. Lock, unlock, your hatch button, and a panic button. This does also have remote start, and because we have Lexus Safety Systems Plus 3.0, well, I'll go ahead and show you. First, to activate remote start, press once, twice, hold it the third time. Takes a little bit. You get a flash, you let go. Vehicle's working on it, and it comes to life. Not the quickest, but hey, it works. And again, because we have Lexus Safety Systems 3.0, it does a thing that Toyota and Lexus products have needed to for a long time. It stays running when you open the doors. How awesome is that? So we still get power and air conditioning and heat, whatever we may need, when we remote start our Toyota or Lexus product. And we can load the kit on in the back seat with the AC running. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Lexus, for finally updating that. As I joked and said, if you've got Toyota Safety Sense or Lexus Safety Systems Plus 3.0, you get this feature. So it is a hardware issue for that matter. We do have the black NuLuxe interior on this one, so this is not leather, and it gives you a nice dual tone of dark colors in this one. Again, it isn't exactly my favorite. We do have the 21 speaker Mark Levinson sound system in this one. And these are cloth covered speaker grills. You can see we've got our power folding mirrors here, all our mirror controls, lock, unlock, and power window controls with lockout. We do have a multi-positional driver's seat here with lumbar and 3-person memory. Taking a look at these seats, they are very comfortable seats. They are heated and ventilated, so they are perforated, but again, they are not leather. They are NuLuxe synthetic leather. Coming in and getting into the TX and closing the door, you may or may not have noticed on the outside, the door handles don't actually move because we have electric door latches on this vehicle. So that even involves removing latches here on the inside. You have a digital button right here that releases the door. We'll go ahead and start here over my left knee and work our way across. I did go ahead and turn the vehicle off because I do want to show you the startup procedure. But you get your odometer trip button here with your brightness controls, fuel door open, hatch open, and your 3-person memory seats. As we pull out here, I'm going to go ahead and put my foot on the brake, push the engine start stop button. My seat moves into place, and you can see we've got dual digital screens here in front of me. 12.3 in front of me as a driver, 14 inches here for the infotainment system. So we definitely have a lot of screen real estate here. Really like that we have a lot, though I would say not exactly utilized the best. We'll get into that. We do also have a color head-up display up here that I wish you could make just ever so slightly brighter. It does seem a little on the dim side. It is full color, but there aren't a lot of options for color up there. As you can see here, we do have a customizable gauge cluster here that is controlled by my least favorite thing in this vehicle. We've sampled it in the Lexus RZ and the RX, and I've finally had it with it. Lexus, please stop doing this. We have got touch sensitive buttons here that are multi-function. So these are obviously always your volume buttons. These are always your cruise control buttons. But based on what you do here and here, you get a readout on the head-up display up here as to what those buttons actually do. So you can see where my finger is resting because it highlights it on the head-up display. But I can tell you from driving back in bad weather from Dallas here to East Texas, just trying to do a track forward button, you have to rest your finger on the button for it to acknowledge that that is what you want to do before you can actually press the button. I can't tell you how many times I was driving in the rain, Lexus, and tried to skip forward, and this just did not work the way I wanted it to. So frustrating, so annoying. I felt like I had to hold my finger there and then push it once I got the visual representation on the head-up display. Same is true over here on this side. So you can control your cruise control settings right here, or you can hit this screen right here and move up and down your head-up display, put it however you want it. And you can also change your gauge cluster here as to what is showing and what is displayed here. Again, this one isn't as annoying because it's not something that I'm using as frequently as I am trying to scroll through tracks of music. And you can see when you skip here, you still get forward and back, but it just changes your top and bottom buttons. It's not worth it to me. The Grand Highlander has a better layout of buttons here. It is my favorite of the two when it comes to the steering wheel. I've just had enough of this Lexus. Please stop it. Please. Moving back here, we do, like I say, have Lexus Safety Systems 3.0. So there are eyeballs watching me, making sure I'm paying attention. I'll get warnings up here in the gauge cluster when it can't see me if I'm driving one-handed, and thus blocking the cameras from seeing me. It does work with sunglasses on like I've got today, but that is really just a driver attention warning system there with these lights. That is one way to know if you've got Toyota Safety System or Lexus Safety Systems Plus 3.0. It's whether or not you have those cameras looking back at you. Coming over to the 14-inch screen over here, you can see it goes all the way down, halfway down through the buttons here. This is the bottom. So 14 inches across. Most of it is CarPlay, but then you do get some digital buttons for your climate controls. It works relatively well for not having actual physical buttons. I will say it works perhaps the best of any that I've sampled. And we do actually have tri-zone climate, so I can control the rear from here or go to the front. You can see the heated and ventilated front seats and heated steering wheel. They don't remember where you had them last, but you can put them in auto mode. So depending on what temperature you have yours set at and what the exterior temperature is outside, your heated and ventilated seats will just take care of themselves. It works 98% of the time the way I would want it to. Sometimes it's got the heat on when I would want the ventilation on. You can go into some more shortcuts right here by hitting this button. You can see frequently used stuff right here. You can close that down. You can go further into climate modes and truly go into climate concierge there, but lots of different things you can control here on the screen as well. This is running the new Lexus operated system, so there is no dedicated home screen. So whatever you have the screen on over here on the sides is what it stays on. There isn't really just like a home screen. I do foresee, because there have been enough complaints online, perhaps they update that with an over-the-air update. Just interesting to note. We do get a single volume button right here. We do get heated rear view mirrors and rear window, heated front windshield, and get some interesting AC vents down here and some physical buttons for your self-parking and your cameras. When you push that camera button as stationary, you get this pan that is really actually 100% useless. I don't really care for that. But if you put it into reverse, you can see we get some really nice cameras, really clear cameras with trajectory as you turn the wheel, both in your bird's eye and in your rear camera. And you also get a front camera, again, with trajectory. Another thing that they do that I really like is the cameras remember what they saw as you move your vehicle. So once you completely move out of your parking spot, it's like your vehicle is invisible, and you can now see we've got those lines underneath our vehicle. That is just a very cool, very useful, nice touch, so you can see exactly where you are parked. And if you stay stationary long enough, well, yes, the vehicle does go back to red because the infotainment system does know that our vehicle is red. Just a really cool option here. You can see we've got the automatic mode on. We'll talk more about that when we're driving. The gear selector here is ripped straight out of a Prius, but is in a lot of other Toyota and Lexus products. But we first saw it in the Prius. Go over and up for reverse, over for neutral, over and back towards you for drive, and push button for park. We do have a brake hold button. You can defeat the engine start stop, your traction control there, and your electronic parking brake is right there. We get USB-C interfaces for power and for wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto if you want it. This does have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but again, because this is a pre-production unit, there's still some gremlins in the system. So our particular model has been hit or miss with that, but we have sampled many other Toyota and Lexus products running this software and have not experienced that, so I do not worry about that whatsoever. I do know that is simply because this is a pre-production. I just know that I can't show you it. We do have a Qi wireless charger right here. That seems to work fairly well on this sliding tray that opens up to some additional storage here. It's kind of felt lined down here. It's not completely rubbery, but it does sound very hollow. So if you've got something heavy in here or hard, it might rattle around on you. You can push that and then you get your phone back. And then a very interesting, unnecessary solution that we have here are the cup holder situations. They're removable, but they're square, but they're round, but they're square. And you can see we get little finger grippers here on the front corners of it, but not on the back. So I can say from experience, tiny cans do not fit snugly in here. They do rattle around, but you can just pop these back into place or remove them completely. And then you've just got all this open storage all the way back. Not exactly our favorite. We don't really like open storage here on the channel, but if you do, well, you've got plenty of open storage here. And I'll go ahead and show you, because you have that pass through. You can rest your phone there if you want to, or if you have like an actual coffee mug with a handle, you can put that there, no problem. You can also lose your phone right there if you want to. There's no real advantage of putting it right there other than it actually fits. We do have a split opening center armrest here to a very large center console. You can see how deep it is. It goes almost all the way to my elbow. It is felt lined, so if you put stuff in here, it's not going to rattle around on you. So I like that. Interesting that they went with a split fold instead of the either or option that they've been putting on some of their other vehicles. Again, we do not really get much of in the way of unique or different dash in here. This feels like a lift, copy, and paste of the latest RZ or RX that we've driven. This is almost exactly like the last RX that we drove. Not a lot of changes up front here to the front. And it doesn't just feel overly luxurious. Sure, we've got nice touches like our rear view camera mirror. And this camera is actually behind the glass in the cabin with me. So when I was driving home in the rain, I could use the wiper to clean that off. But it just doesn't feel overly luxurious up here. I don't know what it is. It just doesn't give a very premium vibe. It just feels so-so, mid, as the kids say. Coming around to me, I do have plenty of headroom. I'm trying to get the glare of the sun out of the way. Plenty of headroom, even with our full panoramic roof here, which I do really like. No felt-lined headliner or anything like that, just a nice material, but plenty of room. We do have a power tilt telescoping steering wheel that is tied in with the 3-person memory, as are the exterior mirrors in this one. So once you get your perfect driving position, you really can't keep it. Now let's move back into those back 2 rows behind me and see what real-life adults think of seating here in this Lexus TX. All right, so as I showed you earlier, these door handles do not actually move. There's an electric door opener on the back side of them. And then you can see we do have some nice luxurious touches on the back doors back here, including these manual sunshades that help screen backseat passengers in this one. And then we get a fairly large felt-lined cubby here. So not only is it a good grab hold for closing the door, but you can put some items down here without it rattling. And like many luxurious vehicles in the class, we get lock and unlock buttons back here as well. Coming around to the seats, go ahead and throw my coat out of the way. You can see we do have the captain's chairs here in our model. You can get a bench seat back here, but having captain's chairs will offer some benefits. I'll show you here in just a moment. We'll get in, close the door behind me, and we've got a nice seating position, although I do have that headrest up a little bit. I'm a little bit higher than the seats in front of me, but I've got a view of this very large headrest. But very nice upright position seating back here in the back. Plenty of legroom behind myself at 5'10". We do have a mat pocket on both sides here. Again, we have tri-zone climate controls with controls back here. I like that a lot. More USB-C power, more storage here. Nothing really down here to speak of, but I do like that we have climate controls with ceiling mounted vents. So Tucker has really enjoyed having a vent really close to him on hot or cool mornings so that he can regulate his temperature, though we still have to control it for him because he's in his child safety seat. I was talking about benefits of the captain's chair, so we do get some armrests here that will lock into wherever you leave them, which is a nice touch. But we get this floor-mounted center console back here with more removable cup holders, and the whole thing is removable as well. So if you don't want that at all, you can completely take that out. And then we get this hard plastic center section that allows for pass-through to the 50-50 split second row or third row of seats, which is one way to get back there and would be the only way you could get back there if you've got child seats in place, because I'm going to go ahead and pop out here and show you these seats are not child seat friendly for climbing into the back row of seats back here. So it cannot do this with a child seat in place. You're relegated simply to sliding them all the way forward, which you can do by pulling that lever right there. So if you've got a child seat in place, this really is your access to the third row. I did want to show you just a few more things on the seat before we climb back there into the back. So headroom is fairly good, but less so than what is up front. Again, because of the glass panoramic roof on this one. We do have a recline on this one, but it doesn't go back too far. It is still nice and comfortable. And then I already showed you that we could grab that front handle, slide it forward and back. It is spring loaded, so it is very easy to do, but we're gonna go ahead, push this button right here, power fold them forward and slide it out of the way so I can climb into the back row of seats back here. I'm gonna go ahead and put the headrests up. I will note, we do install the child seat in our family video that will drop later this week, but we do have lower latches to go with the top tethers for both of these seats back here. They are rather thin seats, but they aren't just extremely uncomfortable. You can see this is me sitting back here in the third row. It's not too bad. My knees are not up under my chin. A fairly comfortable seating position back here. We do have USB-C power back here, and if Tucker's child seat were on this side, we would probably go ahead and put the seatbelt in like that. So it is easy to get in and out without a problem. We do get a handhold here in this USB portion as well. Get a little bit of storage here for a tablet if we needed it. Again, more square cup holders. I don't know what Lexus thinks we're drinking here in Texas, but they aren't square. Another square spot right here that, go ahead and show you. Take this cup holder out. You can put back here. So there are benefits to all these cup holders that you can move around. You can't put it here because it's too big, but you can put it right there. So that is a fun little touch, and they are really easy to pop in and out. Same is true over here on the passenger side. And last, I wanted to show you, we do have this button right here. Showed you they were power folding earlier. They are also power recline. So I get about as much recline as I did up there, but my head is touching the very back of the roof here. Not the best, but not the worst either. You can see it sits back up. I can sit really upright if I wanted to. That is where it stops. That is uncomfortable. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it back where it normally rests and pull the second row seat back. I will say there is also this mechanical handle here to go with that power button that we showed you up there. We got tethers right there. My feet have plenty of room underneath the tracks or between the tracks here. And you can see pulling the seat back, I am not even touching the backs of the seats here. So yes, you may have a slight recline here in this second row, but I don't see it as much of an argument or fight with the passengers up there. So you really can fit 6 adults in this vehicle very comfortably. I've got no complaints with that, but let's hop back behind the steering wheel, see how this thing drives, and then I'll tell you exactly what product I would be shopping from Toyota Motor North America that, well, might surprise you. Before we leave the parking lot, I did want to show you, I had mentioned the automatic camera system in this, and I've mentioned multiple times coming back from Dallas in the middle of the night in rain and heavy traffic. The only problem with the automatic camera system for me in this is, well, at low speeds, it does come on automatically, which allows you to park ever so easily in a parking spot just perfectly. But in stop and go traffic, if you are trying to mess around on your infotainment screen, for instance, or you're trying to put in a location or whatever the case may be here in this, if you're typing around doing this, that, and the other, and you come slowing up, oh, it goes away on you. So you can turn that off with the automatic button. Just something I wanted to note. That is part of the problem with putting everything in the screen here in front of you. When the cameras come on, well, there is some downside to all of that. I will go in here to vehicle and into different drive modes. We have normal, sport, eco, and custom, or you can customize a few different things, but not while you're in motion. I'll go ahead and put this one in sport. I will say again, this is not the hybrid model, so I'm not getting like any extra power, but it changes some of the engine tuning in this one, and that 8-speed transmission. We'll go ahead and give a quick acceleration from a roll. She ain't sluggish. It's a big vehicle. It may be missing 2 cylinders from what you would expect from a vehicle in this size, being a turbocharged 4-cylinder, but it's got plenty of power and plenty of get up and go. I've never really wanted any more power. Yes, the gearhead to me could use more power, would take more power happily, but it has not been a necessity in this vehicle. It moves around just fine, and for the most part, I've been driving around in normal, no problem. But getting in this one, driving it around, it just feels not that special, not that Lexus-like to me. It doesn't feel premium enough over the Toyota it shares a platform with. That Toyota Grand Highlander is so good that it really is going to be stealing away from this Lexus market. Getting it here on the twisties as the road curves, as they do here in East Texas, there's not a lot of body roll as I feel it here in the driver's seat in this one. It is a calm, comfortable vehicle, that is for sure, and it would make for a very comfortable family vehicle, even though, like I said, it's thinly veiled as a Lexus. There's a lot of competition in this segment, and I just don't know if this Lexus TX truly wins me over or not. Putting it in sport mode definitely makes the throttle more responsive and the transmission more ready to shift and row through those 8 gears. It's been a completely fine, perfectly fine vehicle to drive, though nothing too spectacular, nothing just overly extravagant, nothing just screaming Lexus to me. Sure, you get some extras from the Lexus ownership, most of which come in the point of purchase and the customer interaction as the dealer takes care of you in the dealer network. But I can say for me, especially living here in East Texas without a Lexus dealership, I would be just as happy with a Toyota Grand Highlander as I would this Lexus TX 350. It's not to say anything terrible about this Lexus TX. I just feel like it is, well, badge engineering at its worst, not at its best. It feels thinly veiled as a Lexus product. And for me, I would be shopping Toyota if I were in the market for a big 3-row family vehicle, but not the Toyota you would think. Yes, this is based on the Grand Highlander, but we did have the Toyota Sienna Platinum grade on this channel not too long ago. That is the big 3-row Toyota made product that I would want, because you absolutely get more second and third row legroom and space, especially in that Platinum trim, because we had leg rests and everything on those super long sliding second row seats. Plus you get those power sliding doors, which work so well for us with a 5.5-year-old in the family, and the store in the floor third row seats. So you get more cargo space, more legroom for second row passengers, more comfort, luxuriousness, and amenities. You do have to sacrifice the new infotainment. You also have to sacrifice the remote start actually staying on when you open the door, because as of yet, Sienna only has Toyota Safety Sense 2.5, not 3.0. So there are a few sacrifices, but you get oh so much more legroom and comfort in the Sienna. And all Sienna models are hybrids. Again, this is not a hybrid. This is using the 2.4 liter turbocharged 4, and I have not seen over 22 mpg in this vehicle. Meanwhile, that Toyota Sienna sees over 30 mpg. So let's see, more roomy, more luxurious, more offerings in all rows for all passengers, more room inside for people and cargo, way better fuel economy, hybrid, and yes, all-wheel drive. Sure, you can get an all-wheel drive version of this, but I don't know. That Sienna just looks more and more appealing to me day in and day out. Though, because it is a minivan, I will note we have a 13-degree incline on our driveway, and we've had two Siennas now, both of which have had a trailer hitch on the back, both of which have struggled getting in and out of our driveway for clearance. The ground clearance in this platform, both this TX and the Grand Highlander, it's much more SUV-like. So if you can get over the stigma of a minivan, I'd say save your money. Don't get the Lexus TX. Sorry, Lexus guys. Get the Toyota Sienna Platinum instead. You'll be much more happier. So will all your passengers. Yeah, I just don't feel like there's anything special enough to merit this vehicle existing when the Toyota Grand Highlander is as good as this vehicle, just minus the Lexus badge. As long as you're not somebody who has to have a Lexus product to keep up with the Joneses, or the Lexus service that you expect from your local dealership, I would say absolutely go shop the Toyota dealership and check out either the Grand Highlander if you love this platform, or the Sienna if you truly care about people, cargo, and space. Well, that is about it for me from behind the wheel of this 2024 Lexus TX 350 Premium Front Wheel Drive. If you want to see more from us here on the channel, absolutely hit that subscribe button down below and ring the bell so you're notified every time a new video drops from us. You can find us on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, Threads, YouTube. Everything is at GT Garage Talk, or you can go to gtgaragetalk.com. You'll definitely want to stick around for our family review where Holly gets behind the wheel and we put Tucker's child safety seat in this vehicle. But before we get rid of this one completely, I'm going to turn down here and give this one a quick 0 to 60 run. We'll go ahead and put it in sport, come to a complete stop, firm on the brake, and let's go. All right. 60. And on that note, until next time, gearheads, bye. Oh my goodness, you have got to be kidding me, Lexus.